welcome to Oh Brother, a podcast of three brothers trying to figure it all out, with your hosts Brandon, Colin, and Aaron. On this week's show, Hacky Sackin. Aaron.
Hello.
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 What's new?
Not a whole heaping of a lot. Still on call this week. Wait, have you guys been on the call this whole time?
What? No.
No, just got done typing, just chilling for a little bit. I'm still on call until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I've just been here, just idly hoeing, doing my stuff. So yeah, that's my day in a nutshell, at least.
How do you spell Hidley Holin?
Hidley Hoen. You don't have Hidley Hoen up there? Sounds
must be a Oklahoma thing. I don't know.
Sounds pretty sus. Not gonna lie. No, it's what did I do? Oh yeah, the whole for some reason someone big brain was like, oh, we're gonna move the servers out of the offices and put them in one central location. So our whole system was down today because they wanted to have all of the servers in one central location because of reasons. And we had a meeting this morning on Zoom, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, they're going to be moving the servers. And right when the lady said that, it like completely shut the servers down. And I then had to type all of my documentation in Microsoft Word and just hope it saved because I didn't have access to any of my my saving systems. So I'm just like, well, here's hoping that something happens. So I hope that all of my documentation, which I wrote pages, I wrote a novel today on some of my cases, that did get saved. So I hopefully I have them backed up. Hopefully I had them done something. So that was my kind of, well, I guess if they're not saved, I'm gonna cry tomorrow. Other than that, it's been my day. What's going on? What I miss?
I don't know what you missed, but
So you missed a whole week of testing with sixth graders. Oh boy. Let me tell ya. Oh man, what a great lovely time this has been. I can't. I cannot accurately explain just how terrible it is to be in a room with like 20 kids and just like stand there looking at them. It's so awful. It's the most boring thing ever. The day is just like 1,000 years long.
Mm-hmm.
And like it takes some of them a really long time, which is fine. I mean, we literally have all day, but like
Sure.
There's also part of my brain that's like, guys, this one doesn't count. Just it's fine.
Let it go.
Just do something. Like, I mean, I appreciate that we're willing to try. So that means like in the springtime, right? We can they already know, right? They're gonna be fine. They're willing to give it a shot. But there's a couple of them I was like, come on, please, please finish. Okay. So you can't be mad at them for like trying and wanting to like actually do it. So, but it's just so you just stand there and wander about, and then I go back to my desk and I sit for a minute, or I stand next to my desk and then I pace around the room a little bit, and I just was it. It's like, come on. So it's so terrible. So business back to normal tomorrow. for Friday, so that's good.
Oh, it's not movie Friday because they just got done testing.
No, never movie Friday.
Oh.
Get out.
Oh, it's movie Friday.
No, we only watch very few movies in my classroom. They're not movies. We watch some science like videos,
documentaries,
and the only videos that we watch that are like super long are later. With my other unit, we definitely watch Wild Weather with Richard Hammond.
Oh,
yes, it's so good. I can't even recommend that enough. And we watched. I watched one of the Expedition Unknowns with Josh Gates about like. There's one episode where he's like in Egypt digging up like they like a couple years ago Zahi Hawass and a whole bunch of people found like another cache of mummies and stuff. Like they did like literally last week. And there's an episode about that where he's going and just crawling around in a late period tomb looking for like a high priest's burial. They found a high priest burial, so it's really cool. So we watched that at like the very end of our Egypt one. It's just kind of like all right. It's like we at the end when we're done with everything. That's kind of like the last thing that we watch. Just kind of like a wrap up and look, see, still cool stuff
to do.
Yeah, the rest of that, if we watch videos, they're like 5 minutes long. So I tried to keep them short because it's boring if we just sit there.
So none of them is the classic science documentary October Sky?
No, it's not. And it is never the only movie I ever watched in school. Remember the Titans. I hate that movie so much. Not because it's a bad movie or not because it doesn't have a good message. It's because every single time there was a substitute teacher in high school, we watched Remember the Titans.
Did you ever forget? Did you forget that
time? I wish I could forget. I've seen the movie so much. And it's like one of those ones, like the first time you watch it, like, yeah, it's a pretty good movie. The second time you watch it, like, yeah, it's still pretty good. Like the 12th time you watch it, like, I'm over this movie so hard right now. I can't even. So sorry, Denzel. I can't with that movie anymore. It's overexposure.
Denzel, come on.
That and National Treasure, and Remember the Titans. Those are the big three that were ruined for me. I can't sit down and like fully watch them because it's like, oh, National Treasure, Nicolas Cage, yay.
Well, at this point, that movie to me is just like funny.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's like a level of silliness that I can now appreciate. Like at first I was like, really, what is this movie? What is happening? What the heck is going on? But now it's just like I accept it as a silly movie. And it's just kind of humorous. And that's it. That's what we got. That's all I got. It's funny. So that's it.
Yeah, we watched a lot of October Sky.
I'm pretty sure I watched that movie was on in the room, but I could never pay attention to it. I'm only vaguely aware of the plot of the movie. I don't really. There's a quarry scene, right? Isn't there a quarry at some point? Is that movie?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I remember about the movie. There's a quarry, and they swim in it. Yes? Accurate?
No.
No? What movie is that?
Well, there is some sort of core E because they have to like do the rocket, but like
there's a swimming in a quarry.
No, water. This is the coal mine thing. If you're thinking of that as the quarry,
I must be thinking of a completely different movie that I didn't pay attention to.
Whoa, shocker!
So maybe I remember less about October Sky.
This is
where
Homer and his friends like shoot rockets, but his dad's a coal miner and like doesn't respect him for his pursuits and to be a scientist. But the teacher does. And then there's like the accident in the coal mine. So Homer has to give up his dream and go work in the coal mine. And then like they go to a science fair and he solves all these problems. And he gets in trouble because isn't there like a fire? Because
because someone thought it was him. And so they're like, we found this rocket. And they're like, that's not mine. And then it's like, whoa.
Or at least there was no way for it to have set off the fire. So he had to do all these calculations, and he amazed everybody with the mathematics that he did to solve it. And
yeah.
Okay, the coal mine thing sounds vaguely familiar. Okay, maybe. I didn't figure out what the heck this other movie I'm thinking of is. I have no idea what that movie is.
Whose class did you watch it in? Do you remember?
I don't know. Probably all the time. I don't know. I was not paying attention. It's much like October Sky. I probably was not doing something. Who knows? Not watching the movie, whatever it was. We're gonna lie and say I was doing homework. Yes, definitely. What else would I be doing in school? Clearly,
clearly, duh.
Obviously, homework. So there we go. I did today, however. We were all finished by basically right after lunch. We were all done with our testing, except for one or two people. So they went to a testing room to finish up their last 2 questions, and we did one classroom rotation where yesterday. The birthday we tested, we just kept our kids all day long. Yesterday, we just sent them to one other class. And today we sent them to the other one. Right? So they had time to work on stuff in that class. And they were working on their thing for me. We're finishing up our landform picture dictionary. Because a lot of us don't know what these things are, and we need a visual representation of a plane or a plateau because we don't know that word. So I make them find pictures of it and put it in a slideshow so they can pick whatever picture they want because it's for them to know what the heck they're talking about, right? Anyway, we're finishing that up. Somehow, I'm not entirely sure how this came up in conversation, but they started talking about Mr. Potato Head.
Yes.
As you do, obviously. And I dropped the bomb on them that the original Mr. Potato Head from 1952, you had to use a real potato.
Yeah.
And they were they all looked at me like, what? What are you talking about? I was like, yeah. You had, you bought the Mr. Potato Head toy, but it was just the face pieces in a box. And there was a little body that went with it. And you had to get a potato to play with. And they didn't believe me. And I was like, Google it right now. Do it. And these two girls was like, whatever, that's not true. You're lying to us. And all of a sudden oh my gosh, what is this?
It is. I mean, if you look at it, is some weird eldritch horror. The very first one. It is very.
I made him watch the commercial, the original commercial. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, yo, it's so good. You guys, it's so ridiculous. I made him watch it, and they were like, "What is happening?" I was like, "Yep, that's 1952 for you. It's black and white commercial with Mr. Potato Head. It looks." So ridiculous. But the best part is they kept finding the pictures of people playing with it with other vegetables, like a carrot and a pepper.
Oh my gosh.
And an onion and an orange. There's apples. People just put it on other stuff. So the carrot one was the best because they had the face and all that stuff at the very bottom. And then at the very top they put the little hat on top.
Oh no!
It was so good. And there was in the original kit there was hair, and it looks like not good.
No,
right?
It's not
bad.
Okay.
It's bad. It's really funny. So we spent the last 10 minutes of class looking at that.
There you go. That's educational.
And it was really hilarious. Well, they were all done with their thing, so it's fine. But that's what. So I got to drop that news upon them that Mr. Potato Head was a real potato. And of course, some kids were like, yo, imagine your mom tells you to pick up your toys and you just throw them all under the bed and you find it like 2 weeks later.
Oh my god!
Just some moldy potato under your
Oh.
and another kid was like, yeah, imagine that your mom's like, all right, time to pick up your toys and come to dinner. And you go and you can't find your mashed potato head and you go to dinner and it's a baked potato. You're like, but mom, no, why?
Mashed potato head, no. Can we just talk about our love for old commercials? I love them so much. I have one that I want to send you guys. I don't know if you've seen these at all. Have you heard of the LaChoy dragon?
No.
So
that I've heard that word before, but I can't.
So
I have no real context for it.
Back in 1960s, LaChoy Maine wanted to LaChoy Chow Mein wanted to sell their new quick cooked chow mein to customers. They hired the very young Jim Henson and his company.
Oh no!
To come up with one of his first like commercial debuts puppets. And so it's all what it is that somebody being like, oh, I can't cook, and then this huge dragon like bursts through a wall and he goes, I'm the LaChoy dragon. It's so funny. He's like knocking over stuff and they're cooked in dragon fire. It's really.
Oh my gosh, this is horrifying! I just pulled it up. What was happening?
So that's.
I'm too scared to look it up right now.
This is very strange.
I sent you guys.
I have no idea what's going on.
I sent you guys the video of it in our super secret text channel, and I'll include links to that in our show notes on our website. I love this so much. Because it's like this is from the same group that went on to create all of our beloved characters from Sesame Street and the Fraggle Rock and all sorts of stuff.
I mean, you can definitely see the Fraggle Rock in this thing, right? It's like right there, front and center. Oh, there's more. Here's a lady and her son at a grocery store and a scary monster dragon.
I love that
in a
one.
Chef's hat.
Yep,
bursting out of them.
Bursts out of it. I'm the LaChoy dragon.
Yeah. Why in the world? Stop.
It is. I love old commercials so much, especially when they're like this, where when you find ones where they're from somebody's early career or something like that. And this is it's so wholesome. It's so ridiculous,
but also like what?
Also like. Yeah, because you're like, oh, no, they only have crazy commercials today. And then you go back and you're like, oh, no, these have been insane for a very long time.
No, there's been some bizarre ones. Yeah. I can't think of any other ones other than because I have so much Mr. Potato Head on the brain from today.
Oh. Anyway, that's one of my favorites that I like to throw out there.
It's a pretty good one, I gotta say. Not bad. Makes me scared to go grocery shopping. I don't want a giant dragon to like leap out at me.
And he's like lighting things on fire, and the store clerk is just putting it out. And like, there's so much going on in these though. It's like there's just no explanation. It's just this is who I am.
A giant red dragon in a chef's hat.
Yeah, obviously.
What? And somehow the chef's hat is the weirdest part of the whole thing. Like I can't. Like the fact that there's a giant Muppet dragon in the grocery store is somehow not as weird as the fact that he's also wearing a bizarrely small chef's hat. Go on.
Yeah. And this one was. And what's cool is that the puppeteer, and I forget his name, but he, I think he was the same guy who ended up doing Big Bird, maybe. But the puppeteer in there is doing it the same way that Big Bird is. So his mouth is actually his right hand.
Proto Big Bird.
Yeah. So the mouth and neck are his right hand and arm. He's hunched over, and his left arm is the left arm. And if you watch the right hand of the puppet, doesn't move. And that's very typical in Big Bird too, except for some very specific scenes. So he's hunched over there inside this massive thing, like looking and having this conversation with his hand and looking through.
That's somehow even more terrifying that you think about that, right? Like
Yeah, absolutely. But
oh dear.
Yeah, did you ever watch the guy who did Big Bird, like get in the suit and what that took? Like it was a grueling process, and the suit was like really heavy. And he did it up until like 2 years before he ended up passing away.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Oh, I can send you guys that. Hold on.
I'm afraid no. I don't really want to see that.
No, he's a really, really nice. What was it?
No, but like watching that process sounds mighty terrifying.
Oh yeah,
like,
no. So
contorting himself to get into this little like thing.
So Big Bird Carol Spinney. Yeah, he's.
Okay, I recognize that name.
Yeah, and I can send you the suit thing just give you an idea of how he did that. Like, it's crazy. Here's. Again, thank you, listeners, for things that you can't see. You can check out our show notes, or if your podcast app supports chapter art, you can look at your podcast player right now and see the image that we were looking at show up in your podcast chapters. So
look at this. Things I didn't know.
There you go. So that's how he did it. And this picture shows him with his right arm up, and he's tucked down, and he's got the suit kind of falling over him. But they were going to come in and put a girdle or whatever to wrap it around him. But he's got like strapped across his body in multiple different ways. It's pretty cool.
Wow,
that's nuts.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, can you imagine? Like that's what Big Bird. So when you watch that now, when you watch Sesame Street and you see Big Bird like walking around,
now I'm just gonna think about a deformed guy shoved in a suit. That's really fantastic. Thanks for that.
Horrifying, I think is what you're trying to say.
Yes, true.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
So,
wowza.
Here you go, Muppets. Fun stuff.
Muppety things. Well, there we go. I have to drop that knowledge on them at some point if that comes up in class.
Did you horrify them?
Other vintage commercial nonsense.
If they get really bored, you'd be like, "Oh, there's something new."
That's true. I do remember that. What's that? Oh yeah, there's the commercial from like the late 80s, the Teddy Ruxpin one. Do you remember this? Where like the kid like is at school and he's all like, "Oh, I can't read," blah blah, and then I can't remember exactly what's going on, but then he like throws Teddy Ruxpin up on the table and he starts talking. All the kids in the car like, oh, "Wow, that's about," like their faces are just like ridiculously like.
Do you remember our Teddy Ruxpin?
I do, yes. I seem to recall that we had a later version of that, yes.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know where that thing is now, actually.
I have a feeling it's up in the closet, to be completely honest with you.
Or the attic.
Yeah. I'm going with attic, not necessarily closet. Yeah.
Or the window seat, because a lot of stuffed animals ended up in there.
That's true.
Just because they were sitting on top of it, and then like eventually we're like, or hear me out, we'll put them inside. Nailed it.
And that way we never have to see them. It'll be great.
That's true. Boom. Done. So really awesome old t-shirts and animals are mostly in that thing, I think. I'm not sure.
It's fine. It's like a giant time capsule of
perfect
of something.
That's exactly what you want. Yes, it's excellent. But yeah, they were asking me about like a TV because we watched that commercial and they're asking me about like TV commercials from when I was a kid, and I was like, I don't really remember. I remember lots of really weird cereal commercials and like
it was mostly cereal. Yeah, you're right.
And just like bizarre. I don't remember any like a few of like the weird like toys, right? Like from there, like when when they decided that I needed to buy like all the POGs in the world, right? That was definitely television commercials that happened. Like, like, what's the weirdest thing from your childhood, Mr. Funkhauser? POGs, definitely. It's up on the list. It's on the list for sure.
It is
like I don't even know. Like, how do you explain that to a child like of today? Like, what's a POG? All right, well, here it's like it's a cardboard circle with pictures on it.
No,
and you're mostly just concerned about getting ones with cool pictures. That's it.
Yeah. There is a game that I still don't understand exactly how you play.
I don't remember. I don't know how you win. I don't remember. Yeah, you said you had the slammer.
Yeah, that you had to like, and you had to like flip them. I think it's however many like landed face up you got to collect.
I don't remember. Yeah, you turned them all upside down in a stack, right?
Yeah.
And then you slammed them because that was cool. And yeah, something happened, and then you did it again. I don't remember. I know. I don't know the rules. I don't remember them.
I have no idea. I just remember, and then you had like the tubes to collect them in.
Well, yeah, they were in the little the tube just so that you it was like a storage thing you carried around with it. Gameplay. Here you go.
Oh,
what do you say with Wikipedia? They contribute an equal number of milk caps. Based on milk caps. How cool is that? Ladies and gentlemen, for all the listeners younger than me that have no idea what I'm talking about. So yeah, you put them in a big stack. They take turns throwing their slammer onto the top of the stack, causing it to spring up. Yeah, so yeah, you're right. You just keep them face up, and then when none are left, whoever has the most wins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they came in a big thing, and you just like they were everywhere. They were very ubiquitous for like a year. Like everywhere you went, there was POGs. It didn't matter. Like
everybody, every
caps,
restaurant, every like everything.
Yeah, they were in the cereal boxes, right? They were in those little quarter vending machine deals, you know, like the sticker machine things or whatever. They were in those. They were everywhere. Similar to that, right? They were everywhere. And then, like, all of a sudden, the world collectively went, yeah, this is dumb. Anyway.
Yeah. They're like, wait, what?
Yeah. Now that I have this tube full of POGs.
Cool. I collected some awesome cardboard. And
that's what they were. They were cardboard with weird pictures on them. And then, like, big, thick pieces of plastic. Yeah. Actually, if you had the metal slammer, there was, like, metal ones. I think they were just, like, nickel or something. They weren't, like, stainless steel, right?
Sure.
But like
no,
those were the cool ones.
It's the ones you want.
There's definitely some of those in the attic somewhere. There are POGs someplace. Burger King crossover event with Burger King. Actually, they released. I remember this because I had some. There was. I can't believe I'm about to say this sentence out loud. There was a Saturn V, like Apollo 13 rocket. Yes. It was a POG case.
Yep.
They were in like the Burger King Kids Meal, where there was the segments of the Saturn V rocket. You just could screw them all together to make a progressively larger POGs case.
Oh man.
Yes. Perfect. I'm pretty sure I had some of those. I didn't ever get the whole thing. I don't think I had the booster. I don't think I had the rocket base. I think I had like the first like 2 sections.
Yeah.
But, like, it's the dumbest thing ever. Oh, but man, when you're in like 3rd or 4th grade, I was like, that had to have been about the time. I think 4th grade. So this is probably like 94-ish.
95.
What if it was crossover with Apollo 13? Apollo 13, it would have been crossover, 94, 95 area. That would have been the heyday. Like, the year, right? That would have been... At least in the Midwest, right? In New York, it was probably like 2 years before that. Let's be real. Like, that's how it works.
Shh, it's fine. It's fine.
But definitely had a POG collection. And it was one of those things where I was like it literally, it was so ubiquitous and like they were everywhere that like it was not a big thing to just like randomly pick some up. Like, oh, I'm just gonna grab some of these, right? Because it was like cents to buy them, so it didn't matter.
They were not, they were not like
it was just cardboard.
It wasn't like the Beanie Baby craze of the 90s, where it was like they were extremely valuable. It was just like. It was like everybody readily acknowledged how cheap and utterly worthless they were, and yet,
and so you just got them, and like you traded them, like kind of like trading cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like because it was when I was very young, not like very young, but like around that age, maybe a little earlier. I was like, for some reason, I played a lot of baseball, so I had like lots of baseball cards. So like I would just randomly, when you're out, because baseball cards were everywhere. You just randomly just like buy a pack of baseball cards. And again, it was like cents. So it didn't really matter. You weren't like breaking the bank to indulge in your hobby, right? And
sure.
Right. It's like, oh, I'm going to buy this candy bar and this bag of baseball cards from the gas station. Like, whatever. Okay, cool. That's why I bought them in the gas station, right? It's just like... They were just there, and the counter was like, and these. All right, cool. Nailed it.
Awesome.
Like, POGs were the same way. It was like, oh, yeah, I'm at the store. I got to buy, this. And, like, you're like, hey, Mom, can I get this? And it's like 50 cents. So she was like, okay, whatever. Like, this is way cheaper than the other toys you want me to buy sometimes. So, yeah, what the heck? Why not?
Yeah, they totally were the checkout counter item. Yeah. They were not placed deep in the store.
No, I don't think so.
they understood.
I mean, there probably was like an end cap display, right? That's probably where they were, on the end cap thing, not like in the middle of the aisle. Just like on your way to something else. Oh yeah, this. Got it.
Oh, by the way, have some of this really, really cheap.
It's really, really sweet cardboard with just like the most random. The thing that I think was so bizarre about them is they just had the most random pictures on them because it was absolutely anything. Yeah. Right? It was like, could be sports team, could be like a band album, it could be like just random art, could be from a cartoon, could be. It doesn't matter. It's just like
anything,
whatever.
There was no limitation on the intellectual property that they were willing to put on a POG.
That's true. Some of it might have even been just like, I bet some of it was just like commissioned art. Like, hey, art person, make a random weird like psychedelia drawing.
Oh,
100 POGs.
100%. You definitely know they commissioned a whole team of people to just spend days drawing random stuff. And they were like, how many
with like bright colors.
Yeah, they were like, how many revisions do we go through? And they're like, none. That looks great. Give it to us right.
Show it to the person working across from you. And if they don't hate it, it's fine. Right. Can we do geometric designs? Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Literally anything. Like
whatever. Why are you still talking?
I'm gonna find those because I want to see what's on them now. I don't remember anything about them.
I don't know if you want to go down that road.
I do because I want to know now. Well, I had 2 containers. I had the Apollo 13 rocket pieces, and there was like a small orange one. One of my friends had like a yellow one of those things that was like feet long.
Really? What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Like it was like 2 feet long tube that they went in. I don't know how full it was. Right. It might have been overly ambitious with the size of the tube.
Sure.
Buying, like fully expecting to fill it out. But like, yeah, I seem to remember one of my friends had like a big, huge thing because we took him to school, right? We used to play at recess.
Yep.
Or like whatever, or inside. I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember on the playground at the lower elementary school.
Yeah,
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the blacktop, just put bam on the thing. Trade them up. Yeah.
What
I can't even cardboard circle you got today, man. Oh, dude, you gotta check this one out.
I can't even imagine something like that. I don't know, like happening these days, especially. Well, okay, not these days. Okay, let's.
I say, old man. You want to talk about a list on my list of words? It just annoys me to hear because for some reason in the last like 6 months I just heard it so much. Is the phrase these days? These days, like, stop it.
In these times, like no other, unprecedented. Yes. Okay. I'm saying like, what kind of thing like that would take off in modern schools?
Oh, the weirdest stuff, man. I don't know. It's so weird. It's hard to know because I feel like the POG thing was just like an accident. Like, it was just a thing that people made, and all of a sudden kids were like, yo, this is awesome. And the people that made it were like, what? I mean, yes. It's extreme, bro. Because it's 95, right? So, like, oh, it's
everything was extreme.
Everything was extreme. Thanks, Doritos commercials. That is your fault. I think that's what. And those ridiculous Mountain Dew commercial. Watch a Mountain Dew commercial from the mid 90s if you want to see abysmal commercials. That's what you need to watch.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad. Everything is flashing,
especially the Mountain Dew Doritos crossover events, right? Like, yeah.
I
don't understand.
You remember those? What were the No Fear brand like, t-shirt things? Do you remember those?
No, what were these?
Yeah, I don't know. It was just a brand. It was some sort of like brand
clothing?
for like extreme sports. Yeah, and it was like the brand was like No Fear clothing.
Oh my gosh!
Right, and it was like a really bizarre. It was like extreme action sports, like skydiving, bungee jumping, like snowboarding from helicopters. Like it was that kind of thing. Oh, dude, I just Googled it, and the first thing that came up was No Fear POGS. Yo, look at that. Man.
They fit perfect.
Probably there, too.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
It was ridiculous. It was all about the extreme.
Yeah, because that fits right in.
It went away with my POG one.
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, with the branding. It's fine.
Oh, no.
I was on a tangent.
Well.
Oh, I remember. Because like during that time period, right, in the middle to late 90s, like other like really bizarre things were really popular, like huge. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember that. Well, you probably should. I don't know if Aaron remembers this. Somewhere 96, 97-y, like yo-yos were a huge deal.
Yes.
They were just ridiculously popular. Like everybody had a yo-yo everywhere. Like yo-yo tricks were like people were just doing them, like in the mall, in the park, in school hallways, like yo-yo tricks.
Yeah,
like showing off your mad yo-yo skills. It's like, you know,
I remember.
It's like what? What's happening? What year is this? I mean, I totally had one because again, to be part of the cool trend, your startup cost was like $2. Mm-hmm. So you're like, whatever. You're like, Mom, can I buy a yo-yo? And they're like, yeah, out there. Like, it was really... You want the cheapest toy ever? All right, cool.
A yo-yo? Okay, sure.
Yeah.
No, I remember.
But there was like, I remember.
Yeah.
Just go ahead.
I remember we got them for gifts. Like we got wood yo-yos for gifts. I had a blue one. Aaron had a green one. You got a red one.
That's the theme for every gift we ever got. By the way, it was that exact color.
Was that?
That's how it went. I don't even know if Aaron actually likes green. But for some reason,
I think I like it because
it was forced on you year after year.
It was like, oh wow,
had to
thing. Yeah, like I think that was the only reason.
You just had to accept it because they were like red, blue, and another readily available color. green.
Prime, yay, yay. But we got those, and then I remember like the whole getting a yo-yo that had the ball bearings in it was a thing.
Yes, I was going to say that. I was going to say that.
Like all of a sudden, it was like yo-yo technology.
It was a talking point in like the middle school. Yo-yos was like, yo, dude, this one, check out these ball. This one has like sweet ball bearings. You're like, what? That's the most ridiculous sentence I've ever heard in my life, right? Like, with the ball bearings and clutch system on your yo-yo. What the heck, man? Like, bro, you can walk the dog so long. Like,
literally forever. Literally, I can walk it down the hallway from class to class.
No, it did, because it was like, it had like a free spin clutch thing. So if it was spinning, it was going that way. So it was just like, it's like, yo, I could totally do all these awesome yo-yo tricks. Like,
yeah, you did. And
extreme yo-yo, man.
Everything in the 90s was extreme, right? It was.
It's true. It was. Especially in the late 90s. In the early 90s, it wasn't so much. It was still like weird and like weird, bizarre land.
Still
kind of like the 80s, right? But like after 94, it was like, yo, it's extreme.
Everything was
extreme. The X Games happened.
I was just about to say X Games and motocross were like massive in late 90s.
That's true. Motocross was big.
Like
I used to watch. I had a video game. I had a motocross video game that Corey and I used to play all the time.
You had the PS1.
Yeah. After we played Tony Hawk, which I still haven't bought yet because they're sold out. Sorry.
Oh, the remastered one?
Yeah. But we played that, and we played like the motorcycle racing game.
Yeah.
Because you had like the freestyle event on it. So we would like try to out trick each other on the. When we got bored of Tony Hawk for a little while, between Tony Hawk and Gran Turismo, we played some like motocross.
Yeah.
We did it right. We just like, yeah, sweet. We could ride motorcycles, but like, boy, I could play this. Yeah, motocross is big. There was also, I don't remember if you know this, in the Winter X Games, they introduced like motocross, but with snowmobiles.
Yes, I love, and just
so good.
How I just like, I don't even know how to describe what it is watching a snowmobile do that kind of stuff. Like, it is just ridiculous from the outset.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So shout out to Blair Morgan. Right, that's the only name from Snowcross I remember. But Blair, I totally know you're listening. So what's up, man? What's going? Big fan.
Yes, he's probably one of our most ardent listeners. So thank you.
He is now. Shout out Blair Morgan.
I'll tag it when I post this episode.
Can't remember anybody else from motocross. Actually, I probably could. Mark McGrath. There's a name.
Yeah.
Ricky Carmichael. Boom. Another name. A blast from the past. Those are the big names. There was another guy who I can vaguely recall. I don't remember what his full name was, though. Those are the two big ones. And there was a couple other guys that I watched a lot. Yeah, I used to just watch motocross. Like, I don't know. So, there's something about like things like racing of things that I will just watch it. Like, I don't even care. Like, we're racing this. I'm like, sweet, let's watch it. Like the other day, there was flat track motorcycle racing. I was like, yeah, I'm watching that. Cool. Just on TV. It's like, yeah, sure. I'll watch that. I don't care. I'm fine. Yeah.
I can do this. This is a thing.
Well, I mean, like racing things are pretty universally translatable, so it doesn't matter what it is. But it's like, I'll watch that. Oh, anyway, other low-tech 90s toy of choice for the masses was, of course, the hacky sack.
Yes.
Oh. Oh man.
What, yet again, something that like I never understood the hacky sack. I never understood its appeal. Why that it just, but like
I don't know.
It was also pitched as also extreme because people doing like parkour and like stuff in groups with hacky sack.
Well, yeah, you did play like you just played is not the right word really. Like
you engaged.
Yeah, engaged in hacking a sack, right? Like you just had it. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but yeah, he's like in the hallway, like outside, randomly because somebody had one, right? Yeah. Like somebody you were around, somebody in a 15-foot radius of you had one at all times. Didn't matter.
Well, that's the one thing I definitely remember about going to like Boy Scout camps, because like you'd always find like a circle somewhere of someone playing a hacky sack. Like that was just the thing. It was like, hey, can I jump in? Like, okay. Like, oh, hey, where are you?
And I feel like that one stuck around the longest.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely longer than POGS. For real. That was like 5 seconds.
Well,
hacky sack stuck around for years.
Yes.
Because I remember even through high school, people was like, just had one in their pocket. Just like, did it matter? Like, and there was like a criteria for a good one, right? You didn't want it to be too new.
Yeah, I was just supposed to say.
Yeah, you had to break. It needed to be like, for lack of a better term, slightly like flat.
Yes.
Right. It couldn't be like overfilled because you didn't want it to be like really, really round.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted it to be able to be like flattened and deformed so that you could like catch it on your foot and like do all the stuff. Right. Because you needed it to do that. Otherwise, it would just like roll off. So you could, when you did like the stops and stuff. So it was like, but yeah, people like in the mall. Right. He's walking in the mall. Some dudes playing hacky sack over there. Like, whatever. Like eating pretzels and hacky sackin. Like it's one by the food court, like in the arcade. It's like doing it. Like what the heck? I don't know. It's just so weird. Like it was a thing that was just like it was literally everywhere. Everybody knew somebody that had one, or you had one, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think I had one, but I didn't ever carry it because I was not a committed hacky sacker, right? Like,
well. Yeah, they have to have big devotees.
Yes.
You can get, oh my gosh, you can get an order, a bulk order of 250 custom hacky sacks, promotional hacky sacks for $300.
Wow, really?
For $300.
I just want one hacky sack for nostalgia's sake. You gotta get the do you remember the ones that are like knitted?
Yeah,
like knitted. That's the one you want.
Absolutely. You can get, I'm on Amazon right now. There is a, oh my gosh. These are branded hacky sacks.
See, that's not cool. That's not gangsta, right?
No, you need to get the one that you got from a vending machine. Here's a set of 3 hacky sacks assorted. Man, these are branded Turtle Island imports. Even better.
No, that's not cool. You need the ones that, like, all the ones I remember, they were either, like, well, at least all the kids I knew that had them, they were either like the 8-ball ones, because this is the crew that we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Or they're just like a weird muted knit color palette, like orange. That's what these are. Green, like striped and then like black.
Yeah,
and
like a really ugly sweater that somebody knitted. That's what these are. These are knitted in very obscure, nonsensical patterns. There's a set of 3 for $11. You can get these in 2-day shipping.
Oh man. Sweet. I think we should do it. I don't want to.
I
do it. I want to get one. I was going to put it on my desk at school and see what the kids say about it. Like, yo, this is my middle school toy from back in the day. They're going to be like, what the heck? What's the matter with you?
It's a sack of beans and rice.
It's a sack of beans. I'm bringing my sack of beans. It's literally a bean bag. It's like a round bean bag. Right? It's basically what it is. In my POGS, in my yo-yo, like, yo kids, what up?
Oh. Guess who? I'm reading up on this.
I think I'm even more of an idiot than they already do. Like, it'd be great.
Guess who registered the trademark for hacky sack? You'll never get this, but it's a toy company. I don't know.
Hasbro.
Ready for this? Yeah, I was gonna say
Whammo.
Milton Bradley.
No, Whammo, the toy company.
Whammo.
What? Oh my god.
Oh. Do you?
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
There we go. Got it.
Yeah. Wow. Shop your favorite classics. They also hold the patent for the thing for frisbee and slip and slide and Super Bowl.
Slip and slide.
Wow. Whammo.
Wow. Wow. The slip and slide.
The slip and slide. Yeah. basically all of those old games and things from
That's nuts.
Yeah, they hold all of those. That's pretty insane.
I never understood slip and slide. That just would you like to die on a rock? And maybe it's because I live in Missouri and just like there's a lot of sliding on the ground in a state that's literally full of rock. It's just the worst idea I can possibly imagine. Like, would you like to dive onto the ground and slide? It's the last thing I would like to do, please.
Would you like to cut yourself from your eyelid to your big toe?
Yeah. Do you want a concussion today? Yeah. Let's do it. Oh my gosh, I just pulled up a list of 90s toys, and this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
Don't.
Wow. Wow. Gack. All right, I'm going to hit you with that right now. I said gack, dude. That's what...
No. Oh my gosh.
Oh, dude. Okay, except for the Super Soaker 50 was the greatest squirt gun of all time.
Okay. This is fine. We understand this. This is okay.
Some of these are just ridiculous. And some of these I'm like, what? Where was this? I don't remember this at all.
The 90s was such a weird time for toys because they were transitioning from like the 80s technologies into some things that were just like there were such low tech things like the yo-yo, like the hacky sack, and also things like
the Tamagotchi
and the Furby.
Oh my gosh, the worst toy ever, the Furby. I never understood the appeal of that. I did not understand. Or the Tamagotchi. Like, you want to feed a fake pet? No, not really. I have real dogs at home that feed in the cold.
I like the Tamagotchi.
Skip
but anyway,
I don't know. The skip.
Yeah. Count how many times you jump. Like, okay, I guess we all need more exercise is what you're telling me. Right?
Oh God, I forgot about the trolls too. Why? That was like the worst toy ever. I don't understand that one. Oh, the real winner of toys that nobody actually played ever. You ready?
No.
Mousetrap.
Hey.
Does anybody actually know how that game is played? Because I can tell you, we had it.
Yeah.
And do you know who still never played a single actual game of Mousetrap? That would be any of us.
No, because the whole point was I remember just moving the mouse around and triggering the traps, setting them up, and then getting them right. Like, I remember. Yeah,
I just used it as like a construction set to like build the thing. Like, I didn't. I don't know.
I still remember the big net that like came down on top of you or whatever, like a
like a little cage thingy.
Yeah.
But I don't remember. Excuse me. I have no idea how it actually is played.
This is true.
I have no clue how it works. It's allegedly a board game. I can neither confirm nor deny that. How it's played.
There is a board and there are pieces. So
yeah, there's a board. Was there like cards? Was there dice involved? Because you were supposed to move.
I thought you. I thought it was.
This is.
Go ahead.
Based purely on supposition, I'm going to guess that you are supposed to get your mouse from one place to another before the trap was built. Because I think that you were like, as you moved along in the game, that it was supposed to be built like progressively. And I think you were supposed to like try to avoid it. But this is purely guesswork on my part. So if anybody out there actually played Mousetrap and didn't just play with the mice,
please write in. Please write in. 3 confused 90s kids at.
So just from my initial Google, when you end your turn by landing on the turn crank space in the quote unquote the loop, there's an opposing mouse on the cheese wheel space. Turn the crank slowly in a clockwise direction. This will set the trap in motion. If the trap operates correctly, the opposing mouse will be captured and is out of the game. So basically, because there's a little like space around it, I guess you just kind of move the mouse
kind of around.
Yes.
So was it one of those like last man standing games, basically?
It looks like it.
Kind of like those like those must have been really popular then, because that was like, remember the break the ice game?
Wow.
And like
the 90s was preparing us for a lot of Russian roulette, apparently.
Yeah, that's kind of what like.
You remember the crocodile?
There was one with like sticks in a thing. You like poked sticks in a thingy, and like.
Ooh, yeah.
Right? They were red. I don't remember what that game's called. There was the Don't Break the Ice one too.
Yeah.
I remember the commercial for that. That it was really obnoxious. It was like skating on thin ice or whatever. That was like the theme of that game. Like, don't fall through the ice. And like, I feel like there was a bunch of games like that. Just like, hope you don't die. Like,
right. Exactly.
Wow, cool.
Some life lesson here, I guess.
So extreme.
Well, there we go. It fits in. It fits in. Everything is life and death in the 90s. It was like motocross, falling to ice and drowning in cold, painful death. True. Yeah. So, yeah. Catching your opponent in a trap of your own design. I guess that's where. I guess that person really loved. That's. So. Ask the creators of Saw. Did you play a lot of Mousetrap whenever you were growing up?
Yes, that's what happened.
Making all these sort of connections.
Brother actually locked him in a room and wouldn't let him out. That's what happened.
Yeah. That got dark real fast. Anyway,
Indeed. Yes.
Goodness. Wow, that was a trip down memory lane. That was good. I have so many show notes typed up for this. This is insane.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Aaron, do you have any other toys that you remember fondly that you need to add to our list of bizarre 90s toys?
Well, so like I kind of came up out of that whole, what's the word? Like where TV shows were kind of becoming more anime-esque. Like anime was becoming like really popular, and so like
true.
I remember going out to the playground, like elementary, middle school, and playing with like little Metabots figurines.
Oh yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon card game was a big thing. And that was kind of like Heelys or Wheelies, whatever they're called. Those are super popular.
So listeners, Aaron is the youngest one, and he was actually born in the early 90s, so he missed some of this. He missed POGS altogether.
Well, because I remember the only recollection I have is, number one, watching you play it and then being like, this looks fun, and then I playing it, I'm like, I don't know how to play this. Like,
it's also actually not that fun now that I'm thinking about it. Like, why did I do that? I don't know.
I just have a mess to pick up.
Yeah.
We had a Star Wars card game that we played.
That game was incomprehensibly hard. I remember that.
Because I just remember playing that. But yeah, I remember growing up in that phase where like, anime was, coming, into America, and shows like Toonami was becoming really popular. And just kind of like Dragon Ball Z toys, and McDonald's, Burger King, and bringing up their kids meal toys. And
Aaron's actually all-time favorite toys and TV crossover is, of course, Street Sharks. Just want to throw that out.
I did have a Street Shark.
Knows.
That actually had little rollerblades.
Because they were extreme, dude. Like
biker mice from Mars.
Yeah,
that's a criminally underrated television show.
Right?
Okay. We have another. I feel another challenge coming up. We're going to draft 90s TV shows.
Okay, we can do that later, but Homework Boy's got to finish his homework from last time first. So
one of the good things I am good at is giving myself more homework before I've completed the original assignment. That way, always moving the ball.
Right.
Okay, so
Okay, we can do that later. We'll put that on the burner. Drafting in 90s. We'll come up with that. We'll come up with parameters for that one at a later
yeah,
time.
that's fine.
That's the
I just
idea.
need to put that on get on the record that this is going to be something
Yeah.
we're going to work forward to. Okay.
Okay. Got it.
Brandon, what is that clicking?
Don't worry about it.
Oh.
It's my it's the
It's your what?
it's a paperclip that I have.
A
I don't know
paperclip?
why. No, it's not a paperclip. What is it called? What are you, small creature? I mean, it holds papers. That's its primary job. But like, it's a thing where you push down on it and it opens up. And paperclip, paper holder device apparatus. One of those things. But I sit there and I fiddle with it.
Okay.
You talking to me?
Uh-oh.
Okay, or
Brandon is trying to reconnect.
deconnect?
Are you
Okay.
talking about a binder clip?
Maybe I don't know.
Is it black?
No, it's green actually.
But it's got the two little things that you squeeze together to
Yes.
open it. Okay, that's called
Yes.
that is called a binder clip.
Oh, well, I don't have a binder to hold, so it's holding papers.
No,
but
it's meant to bind things together.
I know.
Anyway.
But I have my little desk all set up, nice and neat, sort of, and so I just have office stuff strewed all over my desk. I'm just like picking up random things and just fiddling with it.
I'm telling
That's
you,
kind of
Play-Doh. You got to get Play-Doh.
No,
It's amazing.
Where's my thing? Hold on. I have a I have a little stress ball thing that I fiddle with a lot. I have a little Lego character that I also pick up and kind of fidget with. But if I'm not like typing, if I'm just like scrolling through and just like uploading documents and stuff, like I'll just start moving random things on my desk. Like I'll just be like sitting here just like do. I'll pick up a pen and then like all the pins from one side will be moved to the other side just like sporadically throughout the day.
Sure.
And so I'll be like, oh well, I gotta clean my desk, and I look and I'm like, where are my pins? I have a real problem with picking up and moving rubber bands. I have this giant stash of rubber bands that I keep depleting because I keep picking up and fiddling with them. That's what I'm fiddling with right now.
Telling you. Of course, I have easier access to Play-Doh given the children in my house, but it's great. I seriously I attended a meeting. I probably talked about this before, but I attended a meeting where the presenter passed out Play-Doh and pipe cleaners and other toys and put them on the desks. And we were, of course, you walk in, a bunch of professionals or whatever, in the industry, and we're like, oh, I'm not going to play with that. And then 5 minutes in, I'm like, yes, Play-Doh, give me more. And then everybody's playing with stuff. It was really cool. And she was just like, yeah, they're just there to fidget with if you need to or not. It's just whatever, And she found that it really helped people pay closer attention because they were not distracted by other things because they were able to keep their mind focused by playing with Play-Doh or whatever.
I know definitely when I was in high school. I can't remember a time in college when I did this, but I used to drum like just with my fingers on the I don't know if it was just but it was a fidgeting tactic that I did. Yeah. But I'd just sit there and just twiddle with my fingers on the desk. But now my new kind of target is I got one of those things that sticks on the back of your phone case that you can hold better. And it's
pop
a little
socket?
black. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a little black and orange OSU thing. And I was sitting there talking to a client the other day, and I just had my hand in my pocket, and you just hear this little.
That's annoying.
And I was like, I probably should stop doing that. Sorry. But yeah, I'll just sit there and fiddle with it, or I have a fidget cube somewhere, but I'm like, rubber band's better.
Well, and I try and pick things that aren't going to be noisy, or disturb people.
Yeah. Well, like if I'm out in public, the definite go to is like straw wrapper.
Sure.
I'll just sit there and do that. But like it was just me here, like it's a little rubber band or that little pop thing, or that clip does get loud, and that sometimes it annoys me, and I'm like, this thing be gone. And then like an hour later, I'm like, well, you mean you could come back? But yeah, especially when I'm out like driving or something. My hand is usually occupied with either driving or eating. So, but yeah, little straw wrappers are usually my go-to. And then I get very heartbroken when the server comes like, oh, let me go ahead and clear this up, and like picks up and puts on the tray. I'm like, no, that's okay, but okay, thank you.
I wasn't done yet.
And then I'll still like Shelby's little straw wrapper, and just this look of utter defeat comes across her face. I'm like, oh, I know, but you love me, and I'll sit there and fiddle that too.
Oh, that Brandon guy's a real jerk, though. I can't stand him, especially his face.
It's true. It's real true.
Hello.
Sorry about that.
Hello.
My internet was just like, no.
I'm not. So you were telling us about the keychain games. I think like they were just the single use.
Yeah, it was similar to that.
Yeah,
but they had bigger ones, like handheld ones. So that was the other thing I remember.
I know what you're talking about, because I definitely remember getting one of those.
Yeah,
and because like we played on like a Boy Scout trip, like going to there, and he played it for a good chunk, and then I got it with like the battery like dying at the tail end.
That's true, because when the battery died, right, the little things would start fading and you couldn't see them anymore. So the game was still functioning, but you actually couldn't see it. Yeah, so that was helpful. That's just the other thing I remember randomly from like the earlier to mid 90s that I was thinking about. So that's there we go.
Yes.
There we go. Excellent.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's an interesting time.
Yeah, it really was. Just like the weirdest stuff. Like you said, like simultaneously things like that, right? Like the keychain games, like the Tamagotchi or the whatever, and then like also Silly Putty were like just enormous. Like, what? Like at the same time, it was like, I'm really confused. Like,
yeah, because you don't really see a lot of the low tech kind of options being blasted about these days. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, really, I don't know what, like, I don't know if there is like a big hot like toy that kids that are that age actually want currently.
Yeah,
and I work with that age group of children, and so I don't think I don't think there is anything. I can't think of anything that's like,
a lot of it is just like becoming more like online based, like watching people know video games.
Yeah,
is definitely the thing that that kids want to do, is that everyone wants or has to be online. Everyone has to be.
That's true, I guess. But yeah, even in the in the 90s though, there was like video games and also like slinkies.
Right.
Like, but this slinky has neon colors. Like, wow, that's so cool. So right, crazy. Like, so yeah, it was like that weird bridge gap where it was like still in the weird, like, bizarre land of simplified things, and like also like really weird, like techie toys.
There's a really neat series or documentary, if you will, that's on Netflix that talks about the toys that made us, and it talks about a lot of those 90s toys and games and stuff, and it is such a nostalgia hit where you're just sitting there watching it and you're just like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that. Oh no, not that too. It's a fun watch, but it's also just like, oh man, now I want to be able to like to play with that again. Or it's a very enjoyable, and it a lot of the feels come back. It's like, oh, I remember when I played with that. Or there's also a lot of the, what is that toy? Eh?
That's true too. Like I'm sure I remember seeing it, but like it just wasn't a part of my life, so I didn't like internalize it, the same way. Like I knew at the time I knew it was around. But it kind of goes back to like we were talking about last week, like the shopping experience. Even like especially for toys. Like the physical toy store shopping experience was like so good when you were a child. Again, it's all mirrored by like you have those like rose tinted glasses of being a child and like bright colors and loud noises. Oh my gosh, right? Like you have that distinct memory.
So much.
But also, you remember I have a very distinct memory of going to toy stores that were just like crammed full of stuff. Right, like the KB toys in the mall. Like, oh my gosh, what are you talking about? Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, you could barely even walk in that store. There was so much stuff in there.
Now that is an experience that not many kids have today of walking into just being affronted with your eyes and all of your senses with the glut of items and stuff that's crammed in there.
I will say. I mean, not like currently, probably, because again, I haven't been inside a Walmart in months now, right? But the Walmart toy aisles sometimes feel that way. Then that one little small section of the store, you get a glimpse of what life used to be like in a Toys R Us or
and it's
KB Toys.
And it's overwhelming to me now, right? Like I walk past that one aisle and I'm like, oh no, I got it. But it was just
we know that you're a very organized person who likes tidy, orderly things. I am not. So when I see like an aisle like rammed full of stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I wonder what's in the back of this thing, right? That's what I want. You always want to look at the back because that's where all the good stuff's at, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe nobody's looked behind this one yet.
But just to think that there were entire stores, like large stores, Toys R Us, large footprint, one of their undoings, right? Obviously, but like crammed full of those aisles that in Walmart give me such a headache.
That
right?
Toys R Us in Springfield was huge. But like but I mean, for a long time it was full. And it was fine that it was that big because, like, holy cow, that thing was jam packed.
Well, and then
store was like big,
and they were able to section stuff off. Like I remember whenever like they had the video game section when you walked in through the doors. Over to the left was where the video games were back there, and then like the other toys.
Originally, it was not on the left. Originally, it was down an aisle on the right hand side, and everything was just behind glass things. And you had to go back there and buy it that way.
Yeah. But then they made it so you could more walk through it, right, and open up that floor space to it. So it was definitely
and you could actually buy things. Like the thing that I don't like about buying video games at physical stores, a lot of times it's behind glass, and I have to find somebody to get it to me. Like, I just want to buy this. Stop. Okay, why do I have to find a sales associate? I know why they do it, but it's really annoying. Like, I just want to buy this. And if you buy it at Walmart, you have to like track down the really annoyed lady that's back there or the dude that's like been talking to some crazy old lady about her phone for like 45 minutes and they can't even with you anymore. So you're just like, can you just open it? Like, fine, whatever. I'm trying to buy stuff, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Can you make my shopping experience easier? Why do you want me to not buy things in your store? I don't understand. But yeah, it was like, it was just a massive, like that Toys R Us was huge. And even like I also liked the KB toys in the mall because it was like crammed full, like a very much smaller store. But full of exciting wonders of like really random Lego sets, like shoved in the back of the thing and like, oh yeah.
But those were the fun finds. Yeah.
Well, that's because I don't know, again, because I'm a browsing shopper. according to the internet, browsing is dead. That's what they told me this week. I was like, oh, cool.
Sorry, Brandon. Bye.
Like, you would go to the toy store, and it was like not necessarily know exactly what you wanted to buy. You were like, I have allowance money. I want to buy something. But
right.
what? Right. That was always the exciting part for me. Was like, again, surprising to no one. I did not have my shopping trip like planned out.
Sure.
Right. I just like, I have $12 and I'm going to buy something cool with it.
With $12.
What's it going to be?
Yeah.
Right. Like, what? Could be anything, right? I don't even know. Like,
yeah, but this is the one time we're going to the store for a while, so or whatever. And
well, yeah, no, let's be real. In the 90s, we were at the mall a lot.
All the time.
Like, you used to go to the mall. That was, again, that's another cultural scene that has decayed, right? The mall was like, yeah, we could talk about that separately because I know we're running long today, but pencil that in for later. The mall. Oh my gosh. But like, you know, it was just like, but you didn't spend all your money. You didn't spend, sometimes you go to the mall and just like, look. And other times you're like, today's the day. When you're a child, again, not when you're grown up. Like when you're a child, you're like, today's the day. I'm bringing my money. Yeah. Watch out. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because, you know, it was like an event, right? Like I'm now getting my money and we're going to the mall. However much you saved, right? And it wasn't, you didn't always like, you know, because you're, you know, actually spending your money. You didn't always spend all of it, right? Because you were like, but I want to save some for next time. So like, what's my, you know, that's how you shop a little bit, right? Like, what toy can I get? But you never knew, right? Ninja Turtle action figure, maybe. Lego set, probably, but not for sure. I don't know. Like, could some other crazy like toy thing, like 6 billion POGs because they're like 5 cents each. I don't know. Like, what are you gonna get?
It's whatever your little heart desires.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the world was literally your oyster then.
Yes.
Yeah, but because they did have toys, I guess, you know, that's one thing. Like, they did have toys that spanned GAC and POGs to the more high tech or more fancy things that were just starting to really come out. Right? You could walk in and go, I can walk away with an entire bag of these, and you felt really satisfied with it, right? You felt really,
because you went through the whole purchasing thing. Like, I have this money, I got to figure out how to spend it. You did your little child cost benefit analysis, right? Like, this, I have $12, and I could spend all $12 on this, or I could buy this thing that's $7,
and have some left over for
this other thing for like, and this other small thing, right? Let's be honest, you probably bought like one action figure and then some random POGs in a bag, and then we're like, yeah, I'm in there.
This is awesome.
A grab bag of POGs, and then we're like, let's go. I'm out.
Oh man, hopefully
and then you went to the
one day
store. We'll be
back to simpler times, back in the day of POGs, which weren't any simpler, more confusing.
No, they were just weirder. And simultaneously more extreme.
That's everything's that's what we can hope for. More extreme days.
Maybe not. We have lots of extremes right now.
A lot of extreme. I need
more POGs. That's what we need.
More POGs. See,
less extreme, more POGs.
We'll get the balance right eventually.
Well, we went to way extreme. No POGs, and that's the tipping point. That's the problem.
There you go. See, we need to move back, brings POGs back. So 2021, year of the POG return.
All right, let's do it. I'm going to get in the attic. Find them.
Hashtag POGs.
Hashtag POGs.
Boom. Oh, yes.
That's what's up.
Gosh.
You guys have a wonderful evening.
You do.
And we will eagerly await POG 2021. Okay.
Yes. Slamming them.
Slamming and jamming the POGS 2021.
Yes.
Get ready, extreme. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.